In this example, we are going to use the pairwise comparison voting method to demonstrate the IIA, the Independence of Irrelevant Alternatives criterion. Now, what we're going to be looking at are 4 different highest rated game shows, and I polled a group of voters and asked them who they thought the top 4 highest rated game shows were out of Wheel of Fortune, Price is Right, Jeopardy, and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and this is how they voted. 8 people voted this way, 5 people voted this way, 5 voted this way, and 2 voted this way. Now, in the pairwise comparison method, the first thing that needs to be done is to list every single possible head-to-head matchup. So what we're going to do is just start with wheel, and I'm going to write down every single head-to-head that wheel could be in. So wheel versus price, that would be one here. Wheel versus Jeopardy would be right here, and then wheel versus Millionaire, which is right here. Now, wheel has been matched up against every other candidate in a head-to-head matchup, so now they are done. So I'm going to move on to Price is Right. Price is Right needs to be matched up against Jeopardy, which is here, and then Price is Right versus Millionaire, which is here. Now, Price has also been matched up against every other candidate, so the last head-to-head matchup that needs to be written down is Jeopardy versus Millionaire. Now, once all of the head-to-head matchups are listed, the next thing to do is just calculate the head-to-heads. So, looking at the first two, wheel versus price, I'm just looking to see which candidate is preferred. And wheel is listed, wheel is preferred over price, so wheel gets 8 points. Next column, I'm going to go column by column. Wheel versus price, wheel is preferred, wheel gets another 5. Wheel versus price, price is preferred, price gets 5. And lastly, wheel versus price, price is preferred, price gets 2. This ends up being 13-7, which means wheel wins and wheel gets 1 point. The next head-to-head matchup we're going to look at is wheel versus Jeopardy. So wheel versus Jeopardy, wheel is preferred in the first column, so wheel gets 8. In the second column, Jeopardy is preferred over wheel, so Jeopardy gets 5. In the third column, Jeopardy is preferred over wheel, so Jeopardy gets 5. And in the last column, wheel is preferred over Jeopardy, so wheel gets 2. This one is interesting because it is a tie. We have 10-10. And in the pairwise comparison, whenever you're doing a head-to-head and there's a tie, that means that each of the candidates split the 1 point, and they get a half a point. So wheel gets a half a point, and Jeopardy gets a half a point. Now on to the next head-to-head matchup, wheel versus millionaire. So wheel versus millionaire, who's preferred? Well, wheel is, so wheel gets 8. The next column, wheel and millionaire, millionaire is preferred. Millionaire gets 5. And then millionaire is preferred again, millionaire gets 5. And millionaire is preferred once again, so millionaire gets those 2. So that is 8-12. Millionaire wins, millionaire gets 1 point. Now we're going to move over here to price versus Jeopardy. First column, price is listed higher, price is preferred, price gets 8 points. Second column, price versus Jeopardy. Jeopardy is preferred, Jeopardy gets 5. Price versus Jeopardy right here, price is preferred, so price gets 5. And lastly, price is preferred again, so price gets 2. So that is 15-5. Price wins, price gets 1 point. Okay, price versus millionaire. Price versus millionaire. First column, price is preferred, price gets 8 points. Second column, price versus millionaire. Millionaire is preferred, millionaire gets 5. Third column, millionaire is preferred, millionaire gets 5. Last column, millionaire is preferred, millionaire gets those 2. We have 8-12. Millionaire wins, millionaire gets 1 point. Jeopardy versus Millionaire, our last head-to-head. Jeopardy is preferred over Millionaire. Jeopardy gets 8. Third column, Jeopardy and Millionaire. Jeopardy is preferred. Jeopardy gets 5. Third column, Jeopardy and Millionaire. Millionaire is preferred. Millionaire gets 5. And lastly, Millionaire is preferred again. Millionaire gets those 2. So we have 13 to 7. Jeopardy wins. Jeopardy gets 1 point. So now what we need to do is just add up the total amount of points for each candidate. So here, let's start with Wheel. Wheel has 1.5, so 1.5 points. Jeopardy. Jeopardy has 1.5 points. Let's see here. Jeopardy has 1.5. Millionaire has 2 points, and Price has just a single point. So now that we see the points, it's clearly that Millionaire has the most points. So under the pairwise comparison method, Millionaire wins. So what we want to do now is we want to write down the complete ranking. You'll have to do this in some of your problem sets. They'll ask you for the complete ranking. In the videos, they explain it as the extended ranking. They mean the same thing. Oh, ranking. And really what that means is who came in first, who came in second, who came in third, and who came in fourth. So it's obvious in this example, Millionaire came in first. Who came in second? Well, it looks here we have a tie. Wheel has 1.5 points, and Jeopardy has 1.5 points. Now, in the problems from your problem set, your homework that you're going to have to do, some of the problems are going to ask you to do a tiebreaker. And they give you 2 different options. Well, not options, they have you do 2 different types of problems. The first tiebreaker they ask you to do is using a head-to-head. And that's really, when you're just looking at 2 people, you're doing exactly what we just did here. Each one of these is a head-to-head. And so you're just doing a head-to-head with those 2 people that are in a tie. So in this example, it would be Wheel versus Jeopardy. And we'll do that in just a second. The second problem that you'll be asked to do to break ties is to use the least amount of last place. So whichever last place votes, whichever candidate has the least amount of last place votes, they will be the winner of the tiebreaker. So we will do that with Wheel versus Jeopardy too, just so you have an example of how each of these methods work in breaking a tie. So the first one we're going to do is the head-to-head. Well, we're only looking at Wheel and Jeopardy, and they're going head-to-head. So we're just going to do the same process. We're looking at those 2, which candidate is preferred in each column. And if you see here, Wheel is preferred, so Wheel gets those 8. We look at the next column. Just go column by column. Wheel versus Jeopardy. Jeopardy is preferred, so Jeopardy gets 5. In the third column, Jeopardy is preferred over Wheel, so Jeopardy gets another 5. And in the last column, Wheel is preferred over Jeopardy, so Wheel gets those 2. And in this example, it shows that it ends in a tie. Now, in the examples that you guys will be doing online, if it asks you to do a tiebreaker with a head-to-head, it won't end in a tie. It will, there'll be a clear winner, and then that person will win the tiebreaker. But it just so happened that for this particular example, when we do the head-to-head, it ends up in a tie. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the second way to break ties. The second type of problems that you will be asked to do in your homework is to find the least amount of last place votes. So the tiebreaker is between Wheel and Jeopardy. So we're just going to look at the last place votes. Whoever has, Wheel has 5 last place votes there. Okay, so yes, Wheel has 5 They're in last place, 5 last place votes there, and Jeopardy has 2 last place votes there. So Jeopardy wins the tiebreaker because they have the least amount of last place votes. So they're actually going to come in second. So Jeopardy comes in second. Wheel lost the tiebreaker, so they come in third, and then last place is Price. So how we would write this complete ranking is M, J, W, P. That would be the complete ranking for this election. Now, suppose sadly that throughout this election, throughout this process, Price is Right gets canceled. And so in that instance, what that would do is we'd have to do a new election to find the winner. And so Price is Right gets canceled. I'm just going to cancel them from my preference schedule and rerun the pairwise comparison. When we eliminate one candidate and rerun, that constitutes a new election. So we're going to run the pairwise comparison again. I have here, I've written down, I just want to make a note for myself that in the first election that Millionaire was the winner, and I just have the complete ranking: Millionaire, Jeopardy, Wheel, Price, what we just found. That's right there. So moving on to do the pairwise comparison again, the first thing that we look at is we need to write down all of those head-to-head matchups once again. So I'm going to start with Wheel. The first one's going to be Wheel versus Jeopardy, which is here. The next one is going to be Wheel versus Millionaire, which is here. So those are all the head-to-head matchups that Wheel is a part of. And then lastly, it's going to be Jeopardy versus Millionaire. So let's just go ahead and get started. First two, Wheel versus Jeopardy. So Wheel is preferred. Wheel gets 8. Next column, Wheel and Jeopardy. Jeopardy is preferred. Jeopardy gets 5. Next column, Wheel and Jeopardy. Jeopardy is preferred. Jeopardy gets 5. And last column, Wheel and Jeopardy. Wheel is preferred. Wheel gets 2. So this is a tie, 10-10. And in the event of a tie, each player gets a half a point. Wheel gets a half a point. Jeopardy gets a half a point. Moving on to the next head-to-head is Wheel versus Millionaire. So Wheel versus Millionaire, Wheel is preferred. Wheel gets 8. Next one, Wheel versus Millionaire. Millionaire is preferred. Millionaire gets 5. Third column, Wheel and Millionaire. Millionaire is preferred. Millionaire gets 5. And last column, Wheel versus Millionaire. Millionaire gets 2. So we have 8-12. Millionaire wins. So Millionaire gets 1 point. The last head-to-head is Jeopardy versus Millionaire. So first column, it's clearly that Jeopardy is preferred. Jeopardy gets 8. Second column, Jeopardy versus Millionaire. Jeopardy is preferred. Jeopardy gets 5. Third column, Jeopardy versus Millionaire. Millionaire is preferred. Millionaire gets 5. And last one, Jeopardy and Millionaire. Millionaire is preferred. Millionaire gets 2. That is 13-7. Jeopardy wins that, so Jeopardy gets 1 point. So let's go ahead and calculate the points. So Wheel has a total of 1/2 point. Jeopardy has 1.5 points, and Millionaire has 1 point. So it's the pairwise comparison. Whoever has the most points at this point wins, and Jeopardy wins. So Jeopardy wins. So the complete ranking for this would be whoever's in first, second, and third. Jeopardy is in first, Millionaire is in second, and Wheel is in third. So our complete ranking would look like Jeopardy, Millionaire, and Wheel. Okay, so we're at the end of the election. Jeopardy won the second election, and what I want to do is I want to look at one of the fairness criterions to see if this was a fair election or not. The criterion I'm going to be looking at is the independence of irrelevant alternatives criterion. And so I just want to go ahead and read that. What the independence of irrelevant alternatives criterion states, or IIA, it says, suppose candidate X is a winner of the election. So we have a winner of an election, but for one reason or another, there is a new election. If the only changes that are that one of the other candidates withdraws or is disqualified. So one of the other candidates, what that means is not the winner, one of the losers withdraws or is disqualified, then X should win the election. So basically the person who won should win again. So this is kind of like the cliff notes of the IIA. You have a winner. So our first winner of the election, the first time we did it, before Price is Right got canceled, Millionaire won. So Millionaire was our winner. And then we had a new election. Price is Right got canceled, and so that constituted a new election. Price was a loser. They dropped out. And once we ran that election again, what we found is that Jeopardy won. So what this illustrates is a violation of the independence of irrelevant alternatives criterion, because we had a winner. It was the Millionaire. One of the losers, Price, dropped out. And what the IIA, or the independent of irrelevant alternative, states that if one of the losers drops out, then Millionaire should win the election again. And since Millionaire didn't win, Jeopardy won. This election illustrates a violation of the independence of irrelevant alternatives criterion.